Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Golden Goal Fantasy Football Podcast. It feels like we always go back to our roots when we do FanTeam because it's the first one we ever did. And yeah, as usual, like our roots, I'm joined by my good mate Sam. How you doing, mate? How
Yeah,
are you
good
getting
mate.
on?
Yeah, all right. Ticking over in both the full and the half season. A few things to mull over, so I think that'd be good this evening. Had Haaland captain from last night. I know we're like mid game week 5, aren't we? And we haven't done one since 4, so it's like kind of a little bit to debrief, potentially a bit confusing. But yeah, delighted to have stuck the captain on Haaland and given me a couple of decent enough rank rises to start getting me back into contention to start making some progress because at the moment it's all a bit meh.
Fair enough. I thought we could just start going through the game week 6 fixtures. Just talk about the games that are being played and who might be your captain. On Saturday we've got Everton at home to Liverpool, Brentford at home to Leeds, Chelsea at home to West Ham, Newcastle at home to Palace, Forest at home to Bournemouth, Spurs at home to Fulham, Wolves at home to Southampton, and Villa at home to City. And then on Sunday it's Brighton, Leicester, and United, Arsenal. Do you have a standout captain already?
I think if he starts, it's Haaland. He's just looking insane. And what I thought would happen is happening. All those chances in and around the box that Man City are making, he's just cleaning them up. He's
Yep.
only going to get better. The question is whether he starts. Personally, again, for anyone listening, I don't know the answer to this. I've got no inside information, but I feel like he'll start. Um, don't want bank on me for saying that. That's just my personal thinking. And I think I'm going to risk sticking the armband on him.
Yeah, I think I'll be doing the same. I think if he does start, he won't play the full game, obviously, because he's got Champions
He
League,
doesn't need to, though,
but he
mate. He
doesn't
doesn't
need
need to play
to.
the full game.
Yeah, I just think he'll play. I completely agree. And one thing I will mention, so up until last week's deadline, probably about 3 p.m. on the day of the deadline, my captaincy on both FPL and FanTeam was on Salah because I just didn't know if Haaland would play, and that was this week that's just gone. And I can't remember the account name now. It was the Man City Team Predictor account. I can't remember her.
Oh, yeah.
Let me check. I will find it. It's Emma, and her Twitter is at Jump the Wave, and basically she leads groups of Chelsea and Man City fans. She applies a bit of an algorithm to, well, some maths to their predictions based on their history of accuracy. But basically, it's one of the most advanced tools out there for predicting who starts for which team. It's based on a bit of maths and a bit of fan opinion. And it had Haaland as 94% to start in the week. And just seeing that alone made me switch the captaincy to Haaland, which has propelled me to the ranks that I'm in. Emma at Jump the Wave on Twitter is a great account to follow, and I'll certainly be keeping an eye on it ahead of Saturday to see what people are thinking about Haaland. But I agree with you, mate. My gut says he'll start. He just won't play the full game.
I think honourable mentions for Cancelo and De Bruyne as good options. You now think surely De Bruyne comes back in, having not started against Forest. Villa are just looking pants. Cancelo's come off twice, so it could be a concern. But if they're going to keep it clean, he's come off after 60 minutes, so you get your clean sheet points. And in FanTeam, obviously, there's no passing bonus or anything like that there is in Sky. So yeah, my number one option I think is going to be Haaland, and then my vice will be on either KDB or Cancelo in split between the two sides.
Yeah, I think I'll be Haaland captain and Salah vice, but um,
He's
yes,
always safe, isn't he? Salah as a voice, always safe. 90-minute man, pens,
shot.
proven asset, and I've got no doubt that Salah is. I think he's created 21 big chances this season, hasn't he? It's just not quite clicking for
His
Liverpool.
numbers are right there,
However,
mate. His numbers are right there. He's just not putting the ball in the back of the net recently as much as he should have been.
yeah, and there's Nunes to come back. Darwin Nunes to Liverpool on Saturday. Diego Jota is going to be back on the bench. the new signing Mello on loan will be there, and Joel Matip as well. So with Thiago not too far away as well. So you're starting to think that with Thiago coming back, Diogo, Darwin, Matip, that the Liverpool team's going to start looking a bit better over the next few weeks, and you can only see returns for Salah. So I think slightly off tangent, but Salah's a hold for now, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be thinking of transferring him out. The only thing I would say is, traditionally, and I said it on the Sky Pod as well, I'd be put off captaining him, and I still think Haaland for 45 minutes even is better than Salah for 90 against Everton. Just every single Merseyside derby I've watched at Goodison Park is cagey. I think Liverpool have enough to win the game, but I don't remember a game where, well, there probably has been, but most of the games I've watched at Goodison between the two have been cagey and edgy. And I think Lampard is, he's holding on for his life, isn't he? So his team will set up to defend in that one, and I think will make it quite difficult for Liverpool.
I think last season, did Salah get like a couple of goals against Everton? The
He
first
might
one
well
at
have done, yeah.
Goodison Park. And then the second one, it was like really, really tight. And the season before at Anfield, it was really tight. And then the season before that, it was like around Christmas and Liverpool won like 5-3 or something. But it was a lot of rotation that day because of excess fixtures. But yeah, I think you're right, Tom. I don't think it's going to be goals galore. So I'm not going to be captaining Salah. I think he's a great vice option because he's so safe. But Haaland for captaincy for me this coming week. Should I hear any kind of news in between now and then obviously I'll make an educated move.
And in terms of, well, we haven't got your team to show, but when I show mine, it'll help. But are there any players this week that wouldn't be your captain, but you'd strongly be considering bringing in? I definitely think the striker position in FanTeam at the moment, it's difficult to fit all the good players in. My front three at the moment is Kane, Tony and Haaland. And I'm very happy with that. But I think, obviously, Jesus has been wonderful. Mitrovic has looked great. We've got Isaac from Newcastle, who I think is going to be of a similar level to Mitrovic and Tony as well. I just think there's so many strikers, aren't there, mate?
Yeah, so in my half-season game, I've got Jesus, Tony and Haaland, which I'm really, really happy with. I know that's the half season, and then the full season. I think I've got the same in both teams, Let's have a look. Yeah, I've got the same in both, Jesus, Tony and Haaland. Mitrovic does tempt me like for Tony as a potential move. But I like Isaac. I want to keep an eye on him for sure. And Tony's been really, really good as well. So there's probably no real need other than just FOMO on Mitrovic to take Tony out. 90-minute man, pens, proven player. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with that forward line. I think that's probably quite template, isn't it? Jesus, Tony, Haaland, or Kane, or Mitrovic, like between 5 players.
There's nothing wrong with that. They're the outstanding candidates, aren't they? You wouldn't pick anyone else for those positions, I don't think, right now.
No. And when Josh was on at the start of the year and we talked about like them pricing that lowest striker asset at 5 million.
You've got to have 3, haven't you?
You've got to have 3. He's been absolutely bang on with what he said in that video because there's 4 or 5 really good strikers to pick from at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that.
You arguably could have put into that as well until obviously the news of his injury.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm really happy with that as well because I remember last season the striking options, from what I remember, were a bit bleak, really. So it's just nice to have more options than there were previously. Because I know, obviously, Harry Kane's always been a striker, but he didn't have the best of seasons last year, so he was only an option really towards the end. So yeah, it's just nice to have difficult choices about who you pick as your striker in FanTeam now. Yeah,
definitely.
Quickly move on to my team, and I think you said you were quite happy to talk through yours as well. Yeah, similar to last week, really. I think I'm 133rd now because Jadon Sancho's just scored for United against Leicester. So I think probably some people... Sorry?
Do you own him or not? No.
No, I've got Kulusevski instead. But yeah, so I've slipped a few places back now. But yeah, I'm currently 133rd. in the half-season game, and yeah, this is my team. And to be honest, you've probably got it in front of you there, Sam. I'm not seeing many obvious transfers. I've got 2 transfers in the bank at the moment, and I'm not seeing any that I really want to make.
Pope in goal, Dyer, Cancelo, Cucurella, Saliba. That's your back 5, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I really don't think there is any need. Like Cucurella is a really nice price. It's just hold for now and see what happens there. Again, it's a Chelsea team that is in a little bit of disarray and not playing their best. But as we talked about in the Sky Pod, they're probably going to come through and start returning again at some point. Albeit they've got some tricky fixtures, I think, coming up. As we'll probably see on the fixture grid a bit later. Saliba's just been great value, mate. Dyer's been great value, and Cancelo's Cancelo. Like, he got the goal yesterday. He can just clean his routes to all points, isn't he? Assists, goals, and clean sheets.
Mate, I've just realised something that it's quite funny that I didn't even clock. I had Salah as my captain this week. I didn't have Haaland as my captain.
And you've not realised?
I thought I must have done it, and then like my phone disconnected or something. And I've not realised. I'm still in like 126th, but I had Salah as my captain instead of Haaland.
What did Salah get you there? He's 16,
18.6, and Haaland got 14.3, so 10 points lost.
Yeah, you kind of got away with it there, didn't you?
I got away with it there. I didn't even realise like it wasn't even a thing. I just assumed it was on Haaland because I'm pretty sure I did it. But I think I was like out swimming or something, so the might have lost signal, so it didn't go through. Oh man!
So are you gonna roll then?
Yeah, I think I'll just roll, mate. Yeah.
And how many transfers will that leave you?
I'll have 3 then.
Nice, mate.
Absolutely no idea what I'll do with it the week after either, to be honest. But yeah,
that's the beauty of this year. With that, you can do the whole roll thing.
I'm really annoyed about that though. I just noticed. I thought I had Haaland as my captain, but I didn't. Oh well.
Yeah, nice, mate. No, I'd roll if I were you for sure.
How about yourself?
So I've got Pope in goal, Van Dijk, Johnny, Cucurella, and Saliba as a back 4. De Bruyne, Salah, Aronson as a midfield 3. Jesus, Tony, Haaland as a front 3. Obviously, Van Dijk is a little bit of a worry, if I'm honest. But I'm just tempted to leave him for now, just because I guess I could do Van Dijk to Cancelo, actually. Or I don't know if I've got enough money, actually. I think I have to make 2 moves. But I do want a City defender in there. I know they haven't been keeping a massive amount of cleans recently, but I think I do want to come off Van Dijk. I think it's De Bruyne. Like, I'll start the season with De Bruyne and just, I do want to come off him, if I'm honest with you. Like, he's not quite, he sort of ticks over, but he's not getting the explosive.
I don't think he's worth quite his price tag. I think he's exceptional, but he's not worth. He's almost the same as Salah, isn't he, in terms of cost? Is he over 12?
Inevitably, my app decides to freeze.
I think regardless, I don't think he's quite worth his price.
He's 11.6. So I could do like De Bruyne, but then De Bruyne against Villa is like kind of really like that.
You know he'll play against Villa as well because he didn't start in the week.
Yeah, so that's where my moves I think are gonna materialise around. It could be De Bruyne down to Martinelli, for example, and then Van Dijk to Cancelo, and then it leaves me some more money elsewhere. I mean, Martinelli, I've got him on my other side. It's just being super consistent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been really good. It's one of the reasons why I think I've managed to wangle such a high rank. Is I've just picked him and he's done well. Like the cheapy players that I picked have just done really well for me. Like I had Saliba from the start, for example, just because I thought he was cheaper than the rest of the Arsenal defence. I knew he'd probably play, but no one could have foreseen quite how good he's been, I don't think. So, yeah, it's all luck, really, where I've been. I've just happened to have got on the good players from the start. Nothing more than that to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could roll and then actually I could do like a kind of, I could do a triple swap or something, but I think I like to leave Van Dijk and also Kevin De Bruyne one more week
I think
and
based
see
on what
how
you've said, I would roll. Who have Liverpool got again?
Everton, which I think is going to be cagey, don't you? That's my thinking.
I think he could keep a clean sheet in that game.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, the temptation is really that I get three transfers that we. I've got three frees then, and I can do said Van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne, and then maybe if I wanted to do something up front or something else in midfield, I can do it all at once. Because releasing De Bruyne to Martinelli does give me some good money. Um,
Yeah, I just like the thought of rolling this week. I think Van Dijk against Everton and KDB against Villa, two players I'd want, so I'd leave it.
yeah, exactly, mate. And then in my sort of season long, I'm doing okay there. I'm like 1600th or something. I've got very similar side. I've got Martinez instead of Pope in goal. I've got Cancelo in at the back, and then I've got Salah, Martinelli, Aronson, Jesus, Tony, Haaland, and then the same defenders as before, so Cucurella, Saliba, and Van Dijk. I'll definitely just leave that one, I think. Funnily enough, Martinez got me 4.20 because he got like, I think when I looked on FF stuff, he got like 6 saves or something. So it's like they've conceded against Arsenal, but he's gotten a return because he's making saves. So feel like you could just leave him for another game against City. They're going to concede, but you'd inevitably think he's going to make some saves as well.
That's the thing
And
about
then again, that
FanTeam
gives
with goalkeeper saves as well, is there's no upper limit, so you just get points per save rather than FPL where I think it's you get 2 points for a certain amount and then it goes up for another amount and then it's capped.
he made 7 saves, mate. He got 3.5 points from saves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think he's going to make something similar against City potentially, then you're going to come out with a few points and then another transfer rolled, and then I've got again 3 transfers free ready for the week after.
And
Where I
I'd
feel
almost
like
be, because of the Forest fixture run as well, I'd almost be tempted to bring in Dean Henderson. I went for Pope, but I like Henderson over Pope now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I could do that. So I could go Martinez to Henderson. Van Dijk could become someone with a good fixture run back there. And that's all I really need. I only need to make really 2 changes in that side, if I'm honest. I mean, I could do that this week. I could do Martinez to Henderson for the game against Bournemouth, and then Van Dijk potentially downgraded. So there's options there. I mean, when we look at the fixture grid in a minute, that'll probably help tidy up a few things.
Should you do that now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm missing it. That's annoying. I have to bear with. I'll get it up. In the meantime, I'll flash up the fixtures in a second. It's probably worth having a quick look at the questions.
Yeah.
So Luke, our good mate Luke Notley, we only had one on FanTeam, and thankfully, because we didn't record as expected on Tuesday, thankfully I think this one is still still a valid question. So Luke asks, with only 4 points for strikers, 4 points, I'm not sure what he's meaning there. But anyway, with only 4 points for strikers, do you think... Oh yeah, 4 points per goal. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Do you think Mitrovic and Tony could match Kane and Jesus? So you could have yourself 2 cheap strikers and then upgrade your midfield.
So say that again. So who's he talking about? Tony and Mitrovic to match Jesus and Kane?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they will.
I agree. I think comparatively with their values, like points per million, I think they'll probably do better. But in terms of total points, I don't think they'll do as well.
No, they're inevitably going to have off spots. I think you definitely want one. You have one or the other in there for sure. Like Jesus, Haaland, and Mitrovic, or Jesus, Haaland, and Tony, or Kane, Haaland, Mitrovic, or something like that. Just a combo between the sort of the 5 of those players. I don't think you go wrong. I think you'll come out fairly similar at the end of the season. I think Haaland is obviously a lock, kind of at the moment, a must-have, if we can use that phrase. 9 goals in 5 games, it kind of is. I think Tony and Mitrovic, like just getting on those two at the right times. I think split between the two of them, you could have a really good points return. Jesus, obviously, we haven't really seen him like full season, even at like anywhere in the Premier League because of how little he's played at City.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a full season's worth of stats, but at the moment, he looks like he's going to be really, really consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree with everything you said. I've got the fixtures now, mate. I managed to dig them out. Do you have them in front of you?
Um,
I'll quickly send you them on the fly. So yeah, just looking at teams with decent fixture runs. I'll just send that across to you so you got a copy. So as always, Arsenal have got, in my opinion, still a fantastic run. So their next 5 are, they just played Fulham. They've just played Fulham, haven't they? So
yeah,
and Villa as well. I'm very confused by this fixture grid. So it's showing 4 of 5 which have already been played. So they've got 3 fixtures. So game week 6 onwards is what we're covering on this pod. So the next 3, Arsenal have United, Everton, Brentford, and then they've got Tottenham and Liverpool. So they've got Tottenham, Liverpool and City in game weeks 9, 10 and 12. So all quite close to each other. But even then, I still think Jesus could score in those games. Maybe not the City one, but against Tottenham and Liverpool, he could score.
I think he could score against City as well, Tom. I think he's kind of fixture proof there in that sense. Like Liverpool and City have both shown that they can concede a few goals. So yeah, that wouldn't put me off. I mean, whether I want to have triple Arsenal for those 3 games playing anyway, it remains to be seen. But this, to be honest with you, there's value in Martinelli and Saliba, I think, all the time at that price. So it wouldn't be. I could see in a world where I went in with the 3 of them playing those games and try and put out other fires with the transfers. I guess that's where a good bench comes in. Because if you've got like a Wolves or a Brighton player that has a really good fixture one of those weeks or something like that, then you could just, play one of those ahead of Martinelli or Saliba or whatever. But yeah, I could, I've got no problems in playing a couple of Arsenal players through those games.
And then just eyeing up a couple more teams that, well, from my eye anyway, have excellent fixtures from 6 onwards. So one of them being Newcastle and the other one being Nottingham Forest. So I know we spoke about goalkeepers earlier. I think right now I would pick Henderson over Pope because I think Henderson just has more likelihood to get saves. And Henderson's penalty saving record is absolutely out of this world as well.
Yeah,
I think he saved something like 7 of the last 11 penalties he's faced or something like that. It's just unbelievable. So yeah, I think on the whole Henderson's probably better. But looking at that fixture run for Newcastle as well, so in their next 7 weeks, they've got Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, United, Everton. And then Forest have got Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester, Villa, Wolves, Brighton. So both teams have got excellent fixture runs. And I think, looking at Villa, they got City game week 6, but then they got a semi-decent run as well. But just in terms of those 4.5 goalkeepers, I think if you haven't done it already, it makes sense to get rid of Martinez quite soon for Pope or Henderson, I think.
I also like Southampton's fixture run, like Wolves, Brentford, Villa, Everton. Obviously, there's Man City crowbarred in there, but then West Ham and Bournemouth, Arsenal, Palace, and Newcastle. So there's like 10 games there, and probably 2 or 3 that you wouldn't want. The rest of them, like Ward-Prowse, there's a few.
Their goalkeeper's 4 million in FanTeam as well.
Yeah, so that's a potential option there for people. I quite like that. I know that kind of there's a few people that are a fan of James Ward-Prowse all season, and I think he could be a good pick if you're on a wild card or looking to make a change. So there's a few options there, Tom, with the fixtures.
Yeah, I think so. Seeing if there's anything else that I like. I still think, other than a Liverpool game chucked in there, it looks like Chelsea have just had good fixtures forever, really. So from 6 onwards, they've got West Ham, Fulham, then they play Liverpool, but then they've got Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, West Ham. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the Palace fixtures there. So they got West Ham, Fulham, then the Liverpool game, then they've got Palace, Wolves, Villa, Brentford, United, Brighton. So I think even then, those sound like pretty good fixtures for Chelsea. So yeah, they just feel like
I
they've
mean,
had an excellent run all season so far.
yeah, there'll be good value in. I mean, Sterling is playing well. I mean, if you want sort of a slightly outside punt, don't mind that. Um, Fafana and Cucurella, good value at their price. I mean, what's Fafana? 4 point something, is he?
Yeah, I think he's 4.5. I'll just check. He might have gone down in price actually
He
because
hasn't
FanTeam have
barely
put him
played,
down.
has he?
I can't remember. I'll have a look. But yeah, he's definitely 4.5 or below for
I
sure.
mean, he could become a Saliba, couldn't he? If you haven't already got Cucurella or something. I know that Chelsea aren't playing amazingly at the moment, but as we've said, we'd like to think that they're going to
Yeah, he's 4.5, mate.
probably sort things out. So yeah, I don't mind that at all.
I say
I
as soon
don't
as I
mind
saw the
Sterling on it.
Sterling's looking like a good pick as well. I certainly when he signed, I tweeted straight away thinking Fofana is just going to break fantasy football because I don't think, although they've not been very good recently, I think they've just signed Zakaria on loan for Juventus as well to bolster their midfield. I think that's where the Chelsea problems have been really, is their midfield not being good enough. But yeah, they've just signed a decent centre defensive midfielder. And they've got Fofana now. I just don't think we should think twice. As soon as we know Fofana's appearing in that team, I think he's worth buying at 4.5. I just think it's
Yeah, I do.
such good value for a Chelsea defender.
Because you could have him, Saliba, both at 4-5, and then like your Cancelos, your Liverpools, your Tottenhams in there, and you've got a rotation, like a really solid either play the same players every week or just rotate on fixtures. So it strengthens your bench, and I think yeah, you're right. It's a no-brainer and allows kind of more premium picks further up into your midfield, especially like what Luke said earlier about kind of cheaper forward assets smashing it as well.
Any other teams, players that you like the look of that haven't necessarily been mentioned yet?
No, I think we've sort of picked out all the obvious, mate. Yeah, we've picked out the obvious there for sure. I still think it's early in the season. Like, just no real. We're starting to see some trends, but I still think there's a lot that remains unseen at the moment. And so, in terms of like a wild card or anything like that, I mean, unless you've got multiple fires all over the shop, you want to try and uh, fix your side with transfers. Obviously, I think that's the way I'm sort of going with it.
Yeah, for me with the wild card, I think if I need to make like a -8 or something to field a team I'm happy with, that's probably the week I'll play the wild card. But to be honest, I don't see an opportunity to do it at the moment and still have a team I'm really happy. Well, obviously I'll have a team I'm happy with on the wild card. But to be honest, the team that I've got now is pretty close to like what I'd have if I played the wild card. So for me personally, I'm not really seeing an opportunity, and I'll have 3 transfers in the bank after this week as well. So I really
So
don't know
you
what I'm
can do
gonna do with
so
them.
you can do a mini wild card in itself.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't really have a strategy with the wild card yet, to be honest. Yeah,
No, same as me. I think we talked about this before when we had the question. It's like I think you use that. You've got the two options. You roll the transfers and then create your own mini wild card, or if you're doing really poorly, you've got 5, 6, 7 moves that you just need to make. Then pull that
just send
trigger.
it. Yeah,
And then the option then you've got potentially is with a little bit of information that we have, you can allow some rolls based off the back of that actual wild card, and then you've got another little mini wild card 4 or 5 weeks down the line should you need that again. So I think there's numerous ways to play it.
and then just a quick feature that's worth a shout out as well. So this is on the FF Stuff website, which is a fantastic resource for pretty much any fantasy game. It's run by a really good chap named Frank. And what he's got, and it seems to have
Mike,
been pretty accurate so far. Sorry,
or Mike, it's actually Mike,
his
isn't it?
name's actually Mike, isn't it? But yeah, everyone calls him Frank. But
Frank, yeah.
what he's got is it seems to be fairly accurate as well. But what he's got is a really accurate price rise prediction tool for FanTeam. And I think in FanTeam, I don't pay attention to price rises a great deal. But with the way that they happen in and around the game week deadline, there's less emphasis to make your moves early. But there's still motivation to do so within price rises. Hopefully that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially what he's done is predicted, I'm not going to show them all because there are a number of players predicted to fall, but the key players expected to rise in price are on this list here. So he's got Wilfried Zaha at the bottom on a 52%, which suggests to me that it's slightly more likely than not. Bernardo Silva. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, Tom. He's a great pick, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he's looking wonderful, isn't he? And if I were to make a wildcard team, I think I'd go with, because I've got Kulusevski at the moment, but I think I'd go with Zaha instead of him, and then I'd have my wildcard team, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, mate. You carry on. Yeah, it's quite interesting with what Frank's done.
Then he's got Bernardo Silva. I don't think I'm really touching him in FanTeam, but apparently he's going up in price. Not too surprising, but Mitrovic is expected to have another rise to 7.3. Anthony Gordon from Everton looks like he's going up. Alexis McAllister, I think probably already spoke about. Did we speak about him on this one or the Sky Pod? I can't remember, but
yeah, the Sky Pod. I think he's good. He's a half decent pick for some rotation.
Yeah, definitely. He's going up from 5.5 to 5.6 by the looks of it. Then Bobby Firmino, who's obviously had a fantastic start to the season with attacking returns, he's expected to go up. And then the main man, Erling Haaland, is expected to have another price rise as well. So nothing, I don't think, too surprising this week, which is another thing that I really like about FanTeam as well. The price rises and falls in FPL are based on the popularity of players, whereas in FanTeam, it looks like it's people who know what they're talking about with football, and they make the price rises and falls based on player performance, which I think is how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, interesting viewing there on the players to rise, and there are a lot more players that were expected to fall. So rather than present it on screen to you, I'd tell you to go to ffstuff.co.uk, go on price rises, go on the FanTeam section, and then price rise or fall predictions, and then it opens up a big spreadsheet like this, and you can go through them all and have a look and see if any of your players are predicted to fall in price. Other than that, mate, that covers everything I've got here. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think that's everything for this sort of funny position midweek game week, and we'll see sort of where we're at into next week and plot out our future moves and thoughts.
I think we discussed captain. I bottled it last week by the looks of it and went Salah, but I think I'll double check and make sure that it's on Haaland for next week, because I think he'll play at least one half of football. My gut feel says he will, and I think that's better than 90 minutes of Salah v Everton, to be honest.
Yeah, and we'll do a poll on golden goal probably, won't we? Just to sort of get the general consensus of the Twitter folk.
Yeah, I'm sure most people watching this follow us on Twitter, but if you don't, it's up there. Give that account a follow, and we will do a pre-deadline captaincy poll, so you get an idea of what the engaged managers on Twitter are thinking in terms of captain. And yeah, as it says up there as well, if you enjoyed what you saw, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll catch you next week for another FanTeam episode. Cheers.